chosen ones. There are moments when heaven begins to whisper your name again, not because you fought harder, not because you prayed louder, but because the appointed time has quietly arrived. You may not feel it yet, but something is shifting around you. The air feels heavier with meaning, the silence feels different, and your spirit keeps catching glimpses of something your mind can't yet explain. Don't scroll away. This might be the confirmation you've been waiting for. For so long, you've been walking through invisible battles, doing your best to hold on when everything in you wanted to let go. You've wondered if your obedience even mattered, if your prayers were just disappearing into the sky. But deep down, some part of you never gave up, because your soul knew that heaven doesn't forget what it plants. And now, the gates of divine abundance, not just in money, but in peace, clarity, and purpose, are beginning to open. The world won't see it yet, but you can feel it stirring inside. It's like standing before a door you've been knocking on for years and finally hearing the lock click open. Stay with me till the end of this message. You need to hear this. You see, before heaven releases anything great, it checks the vessel that will carry it. The seasons of delay weren't random. They were divine training grounds. Every moment you felt forgotten, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers, every person who left without reason, they were all part of heaven's hidden curriculum. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. Think of Joseph, forgotten in the prison, even after interpreting dreams. Think of David, anointed but still tending sheep in silence. They weren't stuck. They were being shaped. You too, chosen one, have been hidden, not because you were unworthy, but because you were too valuable to be exposed too soon. Watch. Till the end, it will all make sense. There were times you asked God why others seemed to rise so easily while your path felt full of thorns. But heaven's timing doesn't follow man's pace. You weren't delayed, you were being refined. God wasn't holding you back, He was holding you together. Every unanswered prayer, every lonely night, every moment of loss was chiseling away the layers that weren't meant to enter your next season. He was teaching you how to value what's coming by letting you live without it for a while. If this resonates, share it. Someone else is walking through the same silence. Remember when it all began to break, when the friends you trusted turned cold, when money slipped away, when opportunities that once felt certain suddenly vanished. That wasn't coincidence. It was pruning. Heaven doesn't multiply what hasn't been purified. You were being detached from everything built on false foundations. Like a tree shedding leaves before spring, you were losing only what couldn't survive the harvest that's coming. And yes, it hurt, because the pruning never feels holy when you're in it. But now, something inside you has changed. You've stopped chasing validation. You've stopped explaining your calling. You've started to understand that peace isn't found in noise, but in stillness. That's spiritual maturity. And that's why heaven is moving now. The gates are beginning to open because you finally carry the heart that can handle what's behind them. You've been taught the difference between chasing and attracting, between striving and aligning, between forcing and flowing. You've been through the school of surrender, and you graduated the moment you stopped begging and started believing. Stay with me. This is where it begins to unfold. The wealth that's coming isn't ordinary wealth. It's not about numbers in your account. It's about freedom, alignment, and divine purpose. Heaven isn't blessing you because you need to prove yourself. It's blessing you because you've proven your faith. You've been trusted with lack. Now you're being trusted with overflow. But there's a catch. Before you walk through the gates, there's one last test: preparation. Because abundance without readiness can become destruction. And this is the part most people miss. They pray for harvest without clearing the field. You must cleanse your space, your heart, your energy. Remove bitterness, release comparison, and let go of resentment, because heaven cannot pour new oil into a cracked vessel. This message isn't just about what's coming, it's about who you must become to receive it. Don't miss this moment of alignment. You've waited too long, cried too deeply, and endured too much to stop here. The next move requires a clean heart and an open hand. The question now is, are you ready to walk through what you've been praying for? Because, chosen one, the gates of heavenly wealth are about to open, and not everyone who's been watching your struggle will be able to follow you through them. Chosen ones. The moment has finally come where heaven's silence begins to make sense. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every delay that left you in tears, it was never denial. It was divine design. The same God who hid you is now revealing you, not to the world first, but to yourself. You're starting to see why things had to unfold the way they did. You needed to outgrow certain rooms, certain mindsets, certain people who would have mishandled your calling. Heaven couldn't allow you to walk into divine wealth with wounds still bleeding and bitterness still burning inside. You've been through the wilderness for a reason. It wasn't punishment, it was purification. Like gold in the fire, you were refined until your reflection matched his. Stay with me. This is where it all connects. The silence wasn't empty, it was sacred. Heaven was building something in the unseen, orchestrating divine movement while you thought nothing was happening. You've been asking, why did God let me lose so much? But you didn't lose, you were making room. You had to be stripped of what was temporary to receive what's eternal. Because where you're going, nothing fake can follow. The gates of heavenly wealth aren't built for ego, they open only for humility. That's why your pain felt so deep. It was hollowing out pride, fear, and control, making space for the light to fill you completely. This is the season where the unseen becomes seen. You'll start to notice alignment, people showing up at the right time, ideas flowing with clarity, doors opening without effort. It won't be coincidence, it will be confirmation. Heaven is not waiting for you to struggle anymore, it's waiting for you to step. Every lesson you learned in the dark is now your currency in the light. The wealth that's about to find you isn't just for your comfort, it's for your calling. God is raising you to be a vessel of abundance that carries purpose, not pride. The blessings you're about to receive are not meant to stop with you. They're meant to flow through you. That's why you had to feel the pain of lack, so when you finally taste overflow, you'll use it to lift others, not to prove yourself. You'll begin to see how every broken season was building strength, how every lonely night taught you discernment, how every rejection trained your spirit to recognize divine timing. This is your awakening moment, the shift where the story turns in your favor. The same ones who doubted your calling will witness what heaven reserved for you all along. But remember, this isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. God doesn't vindicate you to shame others. He vindicates you to show that faith was never foolish. Stay humble, chosen one. The wealth that's coming will be beautiful, but it will also be heavy. And only gratitude will keep you from collapsing under its weight. Keep your spirit clean. Keep your focus on the giver, not the gift. Because if you can stay grounded in purpose, no power in this world can take what's meant for you. This next season will move fast. Sudden breakthroughs, divine partnerships, ideas that turn into provision. But don't rush to announce it. Let your results speak in silence, just like your prayers did. You'll realize that the same quiet that once felt like abandonment has now become your strength. That stillness is where heaven meets you again and again. This is your moment of divine release. The gates of heavenly wealth are wide open, and heaven is calling your name through them. Walk through with reverence, not haste. Remember who you are, not what you went through, but what you became through it. Every tear was an investment. Every heartbreak was a seed. Every act of faith was building your inheritance. And now, that inheritance is unfolding before your eyes. Don't let fear make you small when heaven is calling you higher. The world needs what's inside you. The blessing isn't just the wealth. It's the wisdom, the strength, the peace, the grace that carried you this far. You are entering a season where you'll no longer chase what's yours. It will begin to chase you. The delay was never rejection. It was redirection toward divine timing. This is your appointed hour, your harvest season. The silence has spoken, and heaven has said yes. So take a deep breath, chosen one. This is what you've been waiting for. If this spoke to your soul, subscribe. This journey isn't meant to walk alone. And share this message with another chosen one who's been waiting in silence. Because the gates of heaven are open, and now it's time for you to walk through.